Hey, okay. Slow arrivals here tonight, but coming. Okay, so we welcome in on this wonderful evening Dr. Guy, Eddie Chazan, Baruch Ian, Sabov, Irving Fishbaum, Aaron Swade, Shalom Fogel, Shelley Zeitlin. How are we doing with the article, Shelley?
I just got home.
Oh, you just got home? Oh, my goodness. All right, you were pianoing?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, important things have to come first. Nachman, Ilya Shutman, Yitzi Fuchs, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, Rabbi Kranz, Abe Arbach, Jay Siegel is joining us, David Helfgott. Here in the shul and in the environment of the shul, we have Gedalia Engel, we got Berish Gesserman, we got Avram Rezepkowitz, Rich Lenner, Ruvain Shannet, and now joining us, Naftali Javelin, and let's see, Eddie Chazan. I think Eddie Chazan is on Mars now. Michal is joining us. Eddie, where are you? Where are you now? Let me guess. Wyoming.
Austin, Texas.
Oh, come on, Austin, Texas. That's not exciting. Maisha Lehman has joined us. Michal Aaron is here. Michal Avram. What am I doing? Yeah, I did have a busy day. Michal Avram. I actually made a Kiddush Hashem for part of the afternoon. I was actually playing pickleball with 6 autistic children. So that was a little bit of an experience. Seeing, I don't know which one was more, the joy that they had on their faces or that their parents had on their faces. I'm not sure. You know, it's a free service, but one of the parents told me, if you would ask for money, I'd be throwing it at you. He said, yeah, I'm so happy to see my son's face, happy, But anyway, we are holding now at... Okay, we stopped a little bit early last night because we did learn Tu Blat and it was almost midnight. So we are holding by, we'll back it up, and we are holding by...
I think.
No, so we're going to start from V'hashoyel. Everybody have V'hashoyel? That's 12 lines from the bottom on Daf Tzadik Daled Amud Beis. 12 lines from the bottom of Daf Tzadik Daled Amud Beis. As we welcome in Marshall, who is here. V'hashoyel, mishalim es hakol. Right? When Marshall borrows something, he pays for everything. So the Gemara says, Bishloi meshvuro mesa, where it fractures itself and dies. Dichsib, that's beferish in the pasuk. V'chi yishol ish me'im re'eyu, if Marshall borrows from somebody, v'nishbar mesa, and it breaks or it dies, he's chayiv. But el shvuya b'shoyel minalat, how do we know that if it's an armed bandit, an armed robber, Marshall is still chayiv? V'chi teima neilef meshvuro mesa, learn it out with a mamatzinu. If it breaks or it dies, no. That's something that could be anticipated. In working with an animal, it sometimes breaks, it sometimes overeats and dies. So you could say that when Marshall borrowed it, he accepted that responsibility. Taima b'shvuya, but armed bandits, that's not something that you anticipate. That's not something that you would bear in mind that it would happen. Ella, says the Gemara, Nemra Shvura Umeisa B'Shayel. It says where it breaks or dies by one who borrows. V'nemra Shvura Umeisa B'Shayel Mesacher. And it says where it breaks and dies by a renter. Ma'ala Halan Shvuya Imai. So by a renter it says that where it breaks, where it dies, or where it's stolen by an armed bandit, the renter is potter. And there it includes the case of Shvuya, where it's captured. So Afkan, so here also, where it says Shvura Mesa, we assume that Shvuya Imai, that it includes also the case of captured. So the Gemara says you're comparing apples to oranges. By renter, it's Liptur. It's to say that he's potter. Here, by a borrow, it's to say that Marshall is Chayiv. So you can't compare apples and oranges. Timer b'shayel, a borrower, shekain l'chiyav. Ella, as we start, 6 lines from the bottom of Daf Tzadik Dalam of his base. Is Berish here? Huh? No? Probably join us from the house. Ella says the Gemara to Rab Nosson. We're 6 lines from the bottom, Gedalia. So we're still welcoming in people here. As we welcome in Ben Sion Cohn, we welcome in Mel Zachter. Ella, 6 lines from the bottom of Daf Tzadik Dalam Beis. Ella Rab Nosson. The Tanya, Rab Nosson is going to say that we extrapolate it from the extra word oi. Ella Rab Nosson. The Tanya Rab Nosson, Aimer, oi l'rabbi shvuya. O comes to include also if it was captured by an armed bandit. Welcome, Reb Kramer. Says the Gemara, wait a second. Hi oi mibayele lechalek. The O is needed to separate it. The sol kedaitach, I might have thought that when it says in the pasuk, if it would have just said shvura umeisa, it's coming to tell us where it breaks and dies. And the only time you're chayiv is if it breaks and dies. But if it just breaks, you're not chayiv. That's what the Havamina would be. I might think the sol kedaitach, if it didn't say if it just, thank you so much. If it said shvura umeisa with a vav, I might think it's only if they both happen. But if it breaks alone, maybe you're not chayiv. The sol kedaitach ad the mitpara umeisa loy mechayiv. It has to break and also die. Now the Gemara later will say, I don't understand. If you're chayiv for einsin, so mali kotla kula, mali kotla palga. What's the difference if part of it dies? When it breaks, part of it dies, or all of it dies. But at this point, the Gemara says maybe he's only chayiv if it dies. Kamash Malon, that's why it has to say oi. Now, hanichel Rabbi Yonason, it's good according to Rabbi Yonason. Rabbi Yonason says whenever it says a vav, it means either or, unless it says yachtav, unless it says together. So then over here it didn't need the oi, because vav means either or. El Rabbi Yeshua, but Rabbi Yeshua says that if it didn't say oh, it would mean this and this together, then ma'i kilamema. Then how do we know that shoyel is chayiv even for an armed robber? Now what's this machlokes, Rabbi Yonason and Rabbi Yeshua? This is a shatz machlokes. The Tanya isha sheyikalas avives imay, a person who curses his father and his mother. Now, I only know if he curses both of them together. Only that it's a capital offense if he curses his father and mother. His father without his mother. It's another pasuk, and that's extra to tell you even if he's aviv kilel, even if he only independently curses his father, or imay kilel. Div Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yonason says, no, I don't need an extra pasuk. Rabbi Yonasan Aimer, when it says Isha sheyakalal es aviv ve'es imay, it means either or. Rabbi Yonasan Aimer mashma shnein ke'echad, it implies both together, or mashma echad b'fnei atzmo, or either or, until the pasuk says yachtav. Ad sheyifrlach hakasiv yachtav, until it says yachtav, like by the plowing of a shor and a chamor together, where it says yachtav. Afilu tema Rabbi Yeshua, even if it's going according to Rabbi Yeshua, but lechale kocha loy tzarech kra. You wouldn't need the eye to tell me that it doesn't mean either or, because it wouldn't make sense that you're only chayiv if it dies. Because if you're only chayiv, why shouldn't you be chayiv if it breaks? If he's chayiv for einsin, svarahu. Mali kotla kula, mali kotla palga. What if part of it dies, or what if all of it dies? It doesn't make sense that it should be only if it dies. So now, as the Gemara proceeds 4 lines from the top of Tzadikei Yomid Aleph, now to us, that sounds like such an obvious thing. If a Shemer Sacher is chayiv for Gneva Vaveda, even though he's not chayiv for Shvuya, Shvura, and Mesa, then Shoyel should surely be chayiv in Gneva Vaveda. Well, let's see what the Gemara says. Gneva Vaveda b'Shoyel Minalan. So first thing Gemara says, we should learn it out. From where it breaks and it dies, the owner can never retrieve it. Either it's permanently broken or it's permanently dead. Maybe we tell the owner, look, talk to the police, and go out and look for it. So maybe Marshall, the borrower, is not chayiv. The owner should go looking for it. Ella kihadisanya. It says in the pasuk v'nishper omeis. Ainly Ella, I only know shvura omesa, that Marshall is chayiv if it breaks or it dies. Gneva v'aveda minayin. How do I know if it's stolen or lost? So now the Gemara says the obvious proof. Mark has finally arrived. Mark, we had in shul tonight Mr. Sobel. I think he's your uncle, right? Or cousin? He's your uncle?
Yes, Ira Sobel.
Iris,
my wife's uncle, yes.
He was in tonight, so I was going to, introduce him to the man that's always on time, but I couldn't find you. I couldn't find you. I said, here's Mark. Where? Anyway, it's good to have you, Mark. You missed last night, a real double header.
I know. I don't have a note, but I will definitely make it up to you.
You didn't make it up yet?
No, I said I'll make it up to you.
No, but I'm saying, did you make up the shiurim yet?
No, I didn't.
You better. Don't fall too far behind.
I won't. I have my work cut out for me tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
Mark, you can get the same author of the note that I got.
Dr. Kildare. Now, so says the Gemara, and this was a simple svara. Amarta kalvachaymer. He's exempt if it breaks or it dies. Chayiv b'gneva v'aveda. He's chayiv if it's stolen and lost. Shoyel shechayiv b'shvura meisa. Shoyel that's chayiv if it breaks and lost. And adin shechayiv b'gneva v'aveda. V'zeu kal v'chaymer, and this is kal v'chaymer she'ein olav tshuva. It has no refutation. Says the Gemara, "My ein olav tshuva." Why are you so emphatic to say that there's no refutation? Because you might say, that you could ask, we're back with this svara again. A Shemer Sacher has a chumrah that if he claims it was an armed bandit, and then we find out he's lying, he pays kefil. So that's a chumrah over a shayel that never has to pay kefil because he pays even if it's an armed bandit. So Malashem Yisachar Shekem Mishalem Tashlum Kefil, he pays double b'toyin tainis listim mezuyin when he claims and gets off the hook with listim mezuyin. If we find out he lies, he pays kefil. And that paying kefil is never possible for the shayel because even if it's listim mezuyin, he has to pay. Says, well, that's not a chumrah. Like we said, it's more of a severity that the shayel can't get off the hook with the claim of listim mezuyim. Iba is saying, he says, forget it. By listim mezuyim, there's no kefil. Because there's only kefil by a ganav that steals in stealth. Armed robbers is not a ganav, it's a gazlan. Iba is saying, because of a listim mezuyim gazlan who, and therefore there's no kefil anyway. So now, as Mo has joined us, okay, now we're getting there with 28 Zoomers strong. That's a koyach. And then with Jay Siegel joining us from Facebook, we got 29. So, Marshall is only 21 short of the promised land.
My life story.
Yeah, I know. It's really pathetic. Says the Gemara.
Ouch.
Ashkechan lechiyav. So it says the Gemara. So we have now found the law that a shayel is chayiv b'gneva v'aveda. Now, what if Marshall borrowed it from me and I was working with him? So where I was working with him, then he's potter. So leptur minalan. How do we know that if it's bailav imai, if I was working with him, he's potter by gneva v'aveda? Says the Gemara v'chitei menelef mishvura umeisa, that if I was working with him and it breaks and it dies, he's potter. Ma'ala shvura meisa shekain einus. That's a complete einus, and in the case of a complete einus, there we're lenient. But gneva v'aveda, which is not a complete einus, maybe we're not lenient. Ela gama mishemer sacher. We learn it out from the paid watchman. The din is, if Shelley is a paid watchman, normally he's chayiv in gneva v'aveda, but if I'm working with him, the one who I was the one who paid him to watch the item, if I'm working with him, he's partner from gneva v'aveda. Says the Gemara, but how do we know that then? V'shemer sacher gufei minalan. So the Gemara says, well, gamrei chiyuvei d'shemer sacher mechiyuvei d'shayel. We learn out the time that Shelley is chayiv from the time that the shayel is chayiv. Malahalon bebalim potter, just like by a shayel, if I'm with Marshall, he's potter. Afkan bebalim potter. So the Gemara says, well, you say you learn it out from the shayel, but my Gemara, how do we learn it out now? One of the Yud Gimel Midos Shatar Nidreshes Behem is called a binyanav, otherwise known as a mamatzinu. In other words, a straight comparison. Iba mamatzinu, if it's a straight comparison, we could say the pircha, and that is shekain einus, because in the case of Shvura and Mesa, that's an einus. So that's why Balav Imay is potter. Ella Amakra, the pasuk says a connecting vav. Oh, we learn out a lot of things in Shas from this letter. By the way, I once saw a Ben Ishchai for a Balkaira. This is a good piece of information. The Ben Ishchai says the most popular letter in the Torah is a vav. You know that? Yeah. What from your estimation?
Well, first of all, every single column starts with a vav, but Vav is it's yeah. I knew it was the most common.
I mean, I wouldn't say that what you're just telling me is not literally a proof, but that's what the Ben Ish Chai says. The most popular letter in the Torah is a Vav. Alamakra V'chi Yishal. So this is called the Vav HaChibur, the connecting Vav. Vav Maisif Al Inyan Rishon. The Vav connects the parasha of Shoyel to the parasha of Shemer Zachar. The Yilmaid Elyon Mitachtain. And we learn out that which is above from that which is below. Says the Gemara, Vakate, even so, Shoyel Shemer Zachar like Amar. We shouldn't be able to learn out the Shoyel from the Shemer Zachar. The Ikala Mifrach, Ma'al Shemer Zachar, by a Shemer Zachar, the reason why the Shemer Zachar is Potter is Shekain Potter B'Shvura Mason, because it's exempt from where animal being broken and the animal dying. Taimer B'Shayel, the borrower, Shechayev B'Shvura Mason, he's Chayev in Shvura Mason, and therefore, by the Shoyel, maybe by Geneva Vaveda, there's no P'tur of Baal of Imai. Ella Geneva Vaveda b'Shoyel l'chiyuva minalan. How do we know Geneva Vaveda by a Shoyel? We know that a Shoyel, a borrower, is chayiv from Geneva Vaveda. The Gama Mishoymer Zachar. We learn it out, as we said, from a Kal V'Chayim from Shoymer Zachar. Shoymer Zachar, which is Potter in Shvura makes is chayiv in Geneva Vaveda. So Shoyel, which is chayiv in Shvura makes should surely be with Geneva Vaveda. It's enough. That which we learn out should be like by Shomer Zachar. Ma Geneva Vaveda to Shomer Zachar b'Bailim Potter. B'Bailim it's Potter because we learn it out from the connecting Vav. Af Geneva Vaveda to Shoel Nami b'Bailim Potter. So the Gemara says, okay, that's if you hold of Daya. Not everybody holds of Daya. That when we learn out from something, then we could only learn it out with the trappings that we learn it from. So now the Gemara says the Vav works both ways. That's the simple answer. The Vav connects the two parashiyas, Shomer Zachar and Shoyel. We learn out from above from below and below from above. So we learn out that just like by Shoyel, it's Potter if it's Baal of Imai. So by Shomer Zachar, it's also Potter and Baal of Imai. Itmar. Whoa, now comes an interesting question. I give Gedalia my cow, and I'm working with him. He's a Shomer Chinam. And he's negligent. Is he Potter? The same thing, by the way, would be a question with Shomer Zachar and a Shoyel. Does negligence also fall into the category of Baal of Imai? That if I'm working with him, then he's Potter, even though he was insanely negligent. You know, I told him to take care of my chess set, and he poured bleach all over it. I said, Gedalia, I have to see the wine in the black. What do you say?
To extend the Torah of Baalimino to Shomer as well?
So we'll see. That's a good question. Do we say the pasuk is Nidrish Lefanav or Lefane Fanav or just Lefanav? We'll see. The Gemara is going to talk about that. Let's see. Hitmar. Pshia b'Bailim, Pligi b'Ravacha v'Ravina. Pshia by Bailim, Ravacha and Ravina argue. Chadam chayiv, v'chadam potter. One says it's chayiv, one says it's potter. Mandi am chayiv, Kesava mikra nidrash lefanav. The pasuk is nidrashes to the parasha of Shomer Yisachar. V'loy lefanei fanav, and not to the parasha of Shomer Chinam. Hilkach im ba'alav imai al Shomer Chinam like Ziv. Says the Gemara, O Pshia Nami, so you'll say, but the question of Pshia is not only by a Shomer Chinam, the question of Pshia is by a Shomer Yisachar and a Shayel too. They could also be negligent. O Pshia Nami b'Shomer Yisachar b'Shayel like Ziv. And the subject of Pshia is not said expressly by a Shomer Yisachar and a Shayel, therefore Balav Imai doesn't apply to it.
It doesn't even say by Shomer Chinam.
Huh?
It doesn't even say by Shomer Chinam.
No, but it says he has to swear.
By Pshia?
No, so he has to swear.
So like Pashabah, actually Sholach Bayad. But we learned that out from somewhere. It's not written in the pasuk.
Yes, but if there's going to be a limit to Shomer Chinam, it's going to be in the case of Pshia. Because there's no any other case where he's chayiv. So therefore, Hilkach b'Shomer Yisachar b'Shayel, by a Shomer Yisachar and a Shayel lechiyav, that you're chayiv if you're negligent. Asya b'kal v'chayim b'Shomer Chinam. We learn out if you're chayiv by Shomer Chinam for Pshia, even though you're part of from Gneva Vaveda, then you're surely chayiv by Shomer Yisachar and Shayel. Aval b'Bailam liftar, but Bailam to be potter if the Bail of Imai to be potter if he's negligent. Af b'Shomer Yisachar b'Shayelai. Why? My time a kiksiv in bol of Ima lo yishalem ashayel v'Shomer Yisachar, that which it says by Shayel and Shomer Yisachar, if the owner is with him, your potter. That's only a hana chiyuve diksivu behed yehu demichtav. It's only those things that it says outright. It doesn't say Pshia outright, and therefore the Torah Bal of Imai doesn't apply. Mandi I'm a potter. The one that says potter, he holds that the drasha of Bal of Imai is not only nidrashes with the Vav HaChibur to the Pasha before, to Shomer Yisachar, but also to Shomer Chinam. Kasav mikra nidrash l'fanav u'lefanei fanav. The chiksiv in Bal of Imai, when it says in Bal of Imai, Shomer Chinam namiksiv. It's also on Shomer Chinam, and what would that be applicable to? For the case that he would be chayiv, and that's the case of Pshia. Tanan, 3 lines from the bottom of Tzadikei Amud Aleph. A lot of learning here with our 28 Zoomers. Eddie in Austin, Texas. Take a good look at him now, because tomorrow he might be in Wyoming. I say if you keep a notebook, you could learn the states of the Union from Eddie.
I'll be in Houston, Bezat Hashem.
Houston. That's a short trip. You could almost walk there. Now, Tanan. Hashoyel hapara. If Shelley borrows a cow, v'shal ba'aleha ima, and he borrows meat together with it, or Hashoyel hapara, he borrows a cow, v'socher ba'aleha ima, and he rents me with it. Shal ba'aleha, he borrows a cow, or sochran, or rents it. V'achakach shal hapara. So in all these cases, it was at the time of the borrowing, potter. So it says a case of shoyel, and it says a case of a renter, but it doesn't say a case of a shomer chinam. Now, if you'll say that there's a ptura bail of imai by negligence, v'ilu shomer chinam loy ketani. Says the Gemara, well, ulitamech, according to you, it doesn't say all the cases. It says a renter, it doesn't say Shomer Yisachar. Ulitamech Shomer Yisachar mikatani. Ella Tana Milsa, the Tana teaches things the ksiva bechedya ketani. By a shoyel, it says the ptur of bal of imai outright, and the asya midrasha, that which we learn out from a drasha, which would be from the Mikra Nidrish Lefanav, Lefanei Fanav, Loiketani. Says the Gemara, Tajma, I'm in the middle of share.
Oh, sorry to bother you. It's Mr. Singer from Alzheimer's. Okay, just you can respond to the email when you're done.
I did. I sent back that the dedications are good.
Oh, okay. I was referring to the inside. Okay, we can talk after.
The whole inside you want me to go over?
No. As long as it looks more or less right to you, it's fine.
Well, they went through every page, right?
We went through every page before, yeah. We just when we convert it to digital file, we want it to just be looked over again by the mechaber. Sometimes.
I trust you. If the pagination is good, it's fine.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Sorry, Rabbi say.
Might be one change to one dedication.
Huh?
There might be one change to one dedication if it's not too late.
No, it's already shipped. It's already. I don't know. They triple do everything. I guess that's the safe way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, better that way than to not check.
Okay. Tajma. 2 lines from the top of Daf Tzadikei Amid Beis. Tajma. Shala v'sha'al ba'aleha ima. Here again, Marshall borrows it and borrows me with it. Sachra v'sachar ba'aleha ima. He rents me, he rents it and rents me with it. Shala v'sachar ba'aleha ima. He borrows it, rents me, or Sachra rents it, v'sha'al ba'aleha ima. Even if I'm doing work elsewhere, Omesa and the animal dies, potter. Shelley is potter. So the Gemara says, Savrua Hamani Rabbi Yehudi. This is going like Rabbi Yehuda, Da'amar Seicher K'shay Misacher Dami. That this is going like the opinion that a renter is like a K'shay Misacher. Says the Gemara, V'ahai Tana Ketani, but this Tana is teaching Milsa da Asya Midrasha. He's teaching the Shomer Sacher, which is something that is extrapolated from a drasha, from the Vav Achibur. V'ilu Shomer Chinam like Ketani. And yet it doesn't say Shomer Chinam. So that would seem to be that he's precluding the case of Pshia from the Ptur of Baila Vimai. Says Gemara, no. Hamani Rameiri, this is going according to Rameir, Da'amar Seicher K'Shomer Chinam Dami. V'tana Shomer Chinam. And it says the Ptur of Baalam Imai by Shomer Chinam. And of course, V'uadin L'Shomer Sacher. The same thing is true for a hired watchman. Or Iba Yisema, you don't have to say it's going according to Reb Meir, but Kedemachlef Rabba Barvua, V'tani Seicher Keitzim Nishalm, Reb Meir I'm a Kishem Sacher, and Reb Yehuda I'm a Kishem Chinam. It's going like Shem Chinam. And it's telling you, Taka, the Ptura Baal of Imai, even by Pshia of a Shem Chinam. Amar Rav Amnuna says that Shelley can't get off the hook if I'm working with him. Now, don't get too attached to Rav Amnuna, because the Gemara is going to refute Rav Amnuna. Imam is going to tear down Rav Amnuna over here. Excuse me, Rav Amnuna. But it's going to really tear down Rav Amnuna. But Rav Amnuna wants to say that the only time that the P'tur of Baal of Imai is there is only if I'm working together with the work with the cow. Amar Rav Amnuna, Eilam hu chayiv, Achetei para v'chayrishba, until he rents the cow, and I'm plowing together with the cow. In other words, I'm the owner of the cow, and I'm plowing together with the cow. I'm drawing. I'm using the axe goad against the team of of the cow. Chamor, or he borrowed a donkey, and umechamer achreh, and I'm leading the donkey. And I have to be employed. Now this we said that this is not the halacha, but according to Rav Amnuna, I have to be either borrowed or employed with Shelley from the time of he borrowed it until the time of the accident. Until the time it breaks and dies. Alma Kesavar, Rav Amnuna holds Baal of Imai Akula Milsa Mashma. It's on the whole thing. It has to be from the time of the loan until it dies, and it has to be that that I'm working together with the cow. So Masiv Rava says, well, we learn not that way. Masiv Rava Shal Balei Ima. Shelley borrowed it, and he borrowed me with it. Sakra of Sakra Bal Ima. Or Sakra, he rented it for Shal Balei Ima, and he borrowed me with it. Shal, or he borrowed it for Sakra Balei Ima, he rented me with it. Afal Pisha Balamaisim Melocha B'Makam Achar. Even though I was doing work somewhere else, the cow was working in the field, and I was fixing his roof. Umeisa Potter, and it dies Potter. So my lab Malacha Acheres, doesn't that mean I'm doing a completely different Malacha? So that's not like Rav Amnuna. I'm working in the field. What happened is the animal was plowing, and I was softening the ground before the animal comes. My makamacher, the kamarpe va'ozle kama. Va'ozle kama. I was softening the ground in front of the animal, and Rav Amnuna considers that as the same job. So the Gemara says, but v'hamid is seifa al gaba have, since the latter part of the Bryce is talking about where I was actually working with the animal, reisha b'malacha acheres. It implies that the reisha is where I was working on the roof. The Ketani Seifa Shal of Achach Shal Baaleh, Sachar of Achach Sachar Baaleh Ima. If I borrowed her, if Shelley borrowed her, and then only afterwards he took me later on, he rented it, and after later on he rented me. Afal Pishach Bailam Choshen Al Gaba, even if I'm using the axe code right on top of it, Umeisa Chayit, because it wasn't at the same time. Says the Gemara, nah, that's not a raya. Imre Reisha v'Seifa ba'isa malacha. Both the Reisha and the Seifa is talking about where we're working together. The Reisha Ravushal Kamashmal and the Seifa Ravusal Kamashmal. The Reisha teaches a chiddush and the Seifa teaches a chiddush. Reisha Ravusal Kamashmal, even though I'm not mamish on top of it. I'm just softening the ground in front of it. That's good enough. Since he taka borrowed me at the same time, but the Sefer Ravus Kamashmalan, the Afalgav the Al-Gaba, since I'm mamish on top of it, Kevin the Loya Yobalam B'Shashela, since it wasn't, he didn't borrow me at the time of the loan, but only afterwards, Chayiv. So the Gemara doesn't buy that. The Gemara doesn't, because the Gemara holds that there's no extra chiddush where you're working on top of it. It's talking about where I was working on the roof. The Seifa Ba'isa Malacha, and the Seifa is talking about where I was working with the animal itself. Hainu Ravusa. Eliyam Reisha v'Seifa Ba'isa Malacha. They both are talking about, just one is talking about softening the ground, and one is talking about the axe goad. My revusa. That the Gemara doesn't think that that's any difference. That's considered both the actual malacha, whether it's an axe goad or softening the ground in front of it. And further, here we see completely not like Rav Amnuna. Tanya mimashma shenemer im bolav imay lo yishalim. Since it says if the owner is with him, he doesn't pay. Any idea? Don't I know? She'im bolav any imay yishalim yishalim. That if I'm not with him, he has to pay. I mean, you can infer that from the beginning. That's coming to tell me, even if I am working with him, but he only hired or borrowed me after he did the loan. If he borrowed or hired me at the time of the loan, I don't have to be working at the time of the casualty. If I was working at the time of the mishap, that's not enough. So that's clearly not like Rabbi Nuna. Rabbi Nuna says that I have to be with Shelley from the beginning of the loan until the mishap. Here, it says clearly that the critical is only that I should be there at the time of the loan. I don't have to be at the time of the mishap. At Adrab, if I'm at the time of the mishap, but I wasn't at the time of the loan, he would be chai. And v'tan idach, we learned in another brisa, mimash mishnema bolav einimai, that if I'm not with him, shalom yishalom, he has to pay. So then I would be able to infer that I am with him. I do have to pay. I don't have to pay. Any idea shim bolav imai lo yishalom. Elamatam loy me bolav imai. As soon as when it left my property to Shelley, and for 1 hour it was together with the Balaam, and then I left. Umeisa, and afterwards it died. Potter. The critical time is that if I was working with Shelley at the time of the loan, whether he borrowed me or he rented me, he's potter, even if I wasn't there at the time of the mishap. So to Yufta, the Rav Amnuna, to Yufta. This is indeed a refutation of Rav Amnuna to Yufta. Okay, first of all, I want to tell the Olam, the Mishnah Yomis is already done, because we're doing a chak now. Also, I want to say that for some reason, there was a very big problem with the uploading of 93 last night on TorahAnytime.com. It is finally, should be finally on now. It was already on YouTube and Facebook last night already, but there was some kind of a glitch. I don't know what it is. We will do the chak now,